Hi, it's Billy Dunlap with GoLaurens.com and GoClinton.com. Welcome to week 4 of the Laurens County Football Show, coming to you from Todd Kirk Field right here, the home of the Laurens Academy Crusaders, where on Friday night, Laurens Academy will host Cathedral Academy at 7:30. Now let's talk about the games we've got coming up this week. We're going to start with Boiling Springs traveling to Laurens Friday night, 7:30 at K.C. Hanna Stadium. Laurens comes into the game 1-2 after a 28-21 loss to Irmo last week. It was a great game. Both teams played extremely well. Irmo just made a play when they needed to down the stretch. A big pass from John Reagan to Raekwon Heath put the Yellow Jackets in scoring position right at the end of the game. Now, Troy Dendy had another solid game last week. It was tough sledding for the senior running back. Irmo has a very strong defensive line, so rushing yards were at a premium, but Dendy ran the ball 28 times for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, Ryan Campbell, he had to throw the ball a lot. He was pressured throughout the night as well, but he was 20 for 37 for 213 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, the defense got better last week. We talked about 2 weeks ago against Chapman, they got torched. The defense got better this week. There were some new faces on the defensive line, made some changes, put some young guys up there. 7 sophomores started for the Raiders last Friday night. Now, the defense gave up 248 yards rushing and 142 yards passing, but we did see improvement from week 3 before at Chapman to the Irmo game last week. Now, the tough schedule continues for the Raiders. They've got a brutal pre-region schedule. Boiling Springs this week, then they go to Dorman next week. So getting ready for region season, the Raiders this Friday against Boiling Springs. Now, the Bulldogs come in, they're 2-1 on the season. They are currently ranked number 8 in 5A. The Bulldogs have defeated Ashley Ridge and they took down Rock Hill last week. They have 1 loss in week 2 to TL Hanna. Now, the defense for the Bulldogs, stout. Did a great job last week against the Bearcats, my alma mater, the Rock Hill Bearcats. The Boiling Springs Bulldogs defense had 2 safeties last week. They forced 6 turnovers and they had 2 pick 6 taken to the house. Now, Najee Thompson was their top player last week, no doubt. He's a wide receiver, he's a defensive back, and he also returns kicks. He had 5 catches for 134 yards last week, 1 touchdown. He also had a pick 6 as a defensive back. Now, let's talk about the Clinton Red Devils. They're going to historic Heights Stadium to face the Abbeville Panthers Friday night at 7:30. Clinton comes in 1-2. They got a big win last week against Aiken, 47-33. Mark Wise was a beast, 255 yards and a tied a school record with 5 touchdowns. He was the GoLaurens.com, GoClinton.com Player of the Week for that performance a week ago. Now, the Red Devils had 488 yards of total offense. They were able to run the ball. Connor Richardson did a good job spreading the ball around to balance the offense. This week against Abbeville, they're going to look to continue to run the ball. Mark Wise, Chris Holmes, a tough duo in the backfield. They're going to need to get positive yards against a very, very tough Abbeville team. Now, Abbeville's coming in, they're 4-0. They are the unanimous number 1 team in 2A. They have wins against 96, Woodruff, Emerald, and Lincoln County. They've only had 1 tie in their last 20 games. The rest of the games, all wins. So Abbeville is a traditional powerhouse in 2A football in South Carolina. Like Clinton, they like to run the ball. They're averaging 311 yards on the ground this season, led by quarterback Bryce Jackson. He's a 2-sport superstar. He's a big-time baseball player, but he's also a great football player. Last week, 84 yards on the ground, 26 yards passing. They got 2 big-time running backs, J.R. Rapley. He ran for 80 yards last week, and then they're also led by Courtney Jackson in the backfield. So a big game. Clinton traveling to Abbeville, 7:30 on Friday night. Now let's talk about the game that's going to be right here at Todd Kirk Field on Friday night. Laurens Academy hosting Cathedral Academy out of Charleston. Laurens Academy lost to Andrew Jackson last week, 44-18. That ends their brutal 3-game stretch to start the season. So now they're getting into games where they'll be more competitive. Last week, Will Tyndall, senior, he was a stud. 6 catches for 199 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, the guy that was throwing him the rock, Thomas Lowry, 8 for 18, 221 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, Kenny Langston continues to make plays, 11 tackles last week. And then Joshua Moore, 10 tackles and 1 fumble recovery. Now, Cathedral Academy comes in, they're 2-1 on the season. Based out of Charleston, they've got wins against Northside Christian and Calhoun Academy. Their one loss is to Clarendon Hall in week 1. Now, they didn't play last week. They were out of school starting on September the 7th, and they started back today. So no game last week for Cathedral Academy. So big game here for the Crusaders Friday night, 7:30 right here at Todd Kirk Field. Now let's talk about the Presbyterian College Blue Hose. Got a chance to go over and watch them play Saturday. They moved the Citadel game from Charleston on Saturday, played it at PC, so it was kind of an impromptu home opener for the Blue Hose. Citadel, a great football team. They got a great following too. They had just as many fans on the visiting side as PC had on the home side. Now PC will host Campbell on Saturday at 7 o'clock at Bailey Memorial Stadium. The Blue Hose come in 0-2 on the season, lost to the Citadel on Saturday 48-7. Campbell comes in 1-1. They lost to Georgetown last week 16-10. The Campbell Camels coached by Mike Minner, former Carolina Panther, so should be a great game on Saturday at Bailey Memorial Stadium at 7 o'clock. Hey, that's going to do it for week 4 of the Laurens County Football Show. We got 4 great games in the county. We're looking for 4 big wins from our local teams, and we will look forward to seeing you at the game.